Hello everyone, today I thought we might take a quick look at parrying in Dark Souls 3. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've recommended the game to a friend, they've played it for about 45 minutes and said, "Man, the combat is really clunky and I just don't understand how to fight. I get killed almost immediately every time." There are lots of reasons why this can happen. The Dark Souls 3 combat system is very rewarding, but can be quite difficult for new players to learn. My personal stumbling block was with the parry system. All of the messages up to this point had made sense. I read about the parry mechanic, but when I approached the enemy and pressed the left trigger, I didn't seem to be able to block his blows. Sometimes the shield would bounce off his weapon and I'd take partial damage. Rather than persisting, I wrote the parry system off as something that I wouldn't need. This was true for my first playthrough, but I was missing out on a very important part of the game. Today I thought we'd take a look at the parry system and try to understand a little bit more about how it works. So let's begin by looking at a successful parry. Here my timing was a little late, but I was still able to execute the move and get a critical counterattack. Watching the same footage again in slow motion, we can see that on frame 25, the enemy begins his attack. It takes me about 20 frames to respond, and I input the parry timing a little late, but still in time to block his blade, see the sparks that indicate a successful parry, and then execute my counterattack. This all occurs over about 2 seconds, which may sound tight, but the parry windows are actually quite generous. With a little practice, this can become a very valuable and rewarding technique. Here is an example of a fight that I found quite challenging when I first played the game. Udix Gundyr hits hard, and his movements can seem unpredictable. Although you can see that I'm able to deflect one of his first blows with a failed parry, and then hit him for critical damage with the second. While taking damage in a fight is never ideal, it's good to know that even failed parries can mitigate some of the incoming health loss. Those partial deflections and glancing blows are what make the risk-reward nature of the parry system so worthwhile. It is in these moments that the depths of the Dark Souls 3 combat system shines. At frame 70, we see Udix begins his second swing. The parry sparks are visible in the water just by the frame counter, and we see him fall to a knee, hear the parry sound, and get a chance to react with a critical hit. While this certainly doesn't end the fight, it does give a chance to do some consistent damage early on, and the damage reduction from a partial deflection helps mitigate some of the risk of the timing. While it is unlikely that this video will lead to anybody's first no death, no hits speedrun of Dark Souls 3, hopefully it has given some idea about how the parrying mechanic works within the game. I'll be playing Dark Souls for years to come, I still have a ton to learn, my timing isn't great, and I am no speedrunner. Part of what makes Dark Souls so special is that feeling that there is always something else to learn. Thank you for watching, and I hope you too can find countless hours of enjoyment of this wonderful game. And never forget, you died. If you liked this video, please do click that thumbs up button, and if you have comments, please leave them in the comments section. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like more videos from this channel. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.